Most men spend their lives chasing peace in relationships. They aim for emotional stillness, predictability, and logic, believing these are the pillars of lasting love. They think, if I'm consistent, if I'm calm, if I just avoid conflict, she'll feel safe and stay. But what they don't understand is that peace for the masculine is not the same thing as peace for the feminine. The masculine sees peace as the destination. The feminine, however, is drawn to movement, to energy, to the pulse of emotion. What makes a man feel stable often makes her feel invisible. The feminine doesn't crave emotional safety in the form of stillness. She craves safety in the form of connection. And connection for her is felt, not explained. She doesn't want things to always be calm. She wants to feel alive, to feel energy moving between you. That's why when things become too stable, too quiet, too routine, she begins to spiral. Not because she's ungrateful, irrational, or dramatic, but because her emotional nature is like the ocean, ever-changing, fluid, deep, and sometimes stormy. It's not broken, it's beautifully wild. So when she stirs tension in a moment that seems peaceful, when she cries without a logical reason, or when she questions your love just after a romantic night, it's not about the surface. It's not about the situation. It's about emotional stagnation. Her spirit is asking, can you feel me? Are you still present with me? Is there still aliveness between us, or have we gone numb? To a man rooted only in logic, this behavior will seem confusing or even punishing, but to a man who understands the emotional pulse of the feminine, these moments are sacred invitations. They are her way of reaching for depth, her way of saying, don't just love me with your words, feel me, touch me with your awareness, challenge me with your presence, show me you're still here. When she picks a fight, she's not necessarily looking to hurt you, she's looking for fire. When she doubts your love, she's not rejecting you, she's searching for your depth. She is testing the life inside the connection, she is trying to wake it up. If you respond with avoidance, silence, or defensiveness, she feels even more alone. But if you respond with grounded presence, with emotional strength and curiosity instead of fear, you become a man who knows how to dance with her fire without getting burned. You become a man who doesn't run from intensity, but leads it with strength and stillness. This is the emotional paradox of polarity. The masculine wants stillness, the feminine needs movement. The dance begins when you stop fearing her waves and start recognizing them as invitations to feel, to show up, to lead emotionally. Because what she really wants is not perfection or even peace. What she wants is aliveness. And the man who can offer that, not through drama, but through steady, grounded, emotional presence, is the one she will never forget. Quick break. Close your eyes for a second. Picture her, the girl you've always wanted. Feel what it would be like to actually have her. Now open your eyes, because here's the truth. Right now, you're invisible to her. You're getting outcompeted by guys with more money, better looks, higher status, and stronger game. You're playing a rigged game, and you're losing, but I've spent the last 35 years mastering this, studying, testing, and finally finding the secrets to get the girls I always wanted. You want to stop getting ignored? You want her chasing you? Then you need to wake up and act. Click the link in the comments if you are truly committed and take the first step toward becoming that guy. Few spots left. Be fast or miss out your last chance to make her yours. Let's get back to it. This is where good men often find themselves confused and heartbroken. They give their best, loyalty, consistency, protection, rationality. They offer the calm they've been taught women want, and for a while, it seems to work. The connection feels solid, the relationship steady, but then something shifts. She begins to pull away. Her eyes lose their spark. Her body is present, but her heart begins to wander. Not because she doesn't appreciate your loyalty, not because she doesn't value your effort, but because there's something missing. Not safety, not commitment, but energy. What most men don't realize is that stability on its own is not always emotionally fulfilling to the feminine. Stability without polarity feels flat. Predictability without passion feels dead. You may be giving her everything you've been taught a good man should give. Consistency, reliability, a calm presence. But if that presence lacks emotional gravity, if it lacks that subtle but undeniable charge of grounded intensity, she may feel more like your roommate than your lover. This is not a reflection of your inadequacy, it's a reflection of her wiring. Many women were shaped in emotional landscapes where love came through chaos, through unpredictability, through emotional highs and lows. If she was raised in a home where love meant walking on eggshells or chasing affection, her nervous system learned to associate love with adrenaline, not peace. So when she finds herself with a man who is calm and stable, her body doesn't recognize it as love. It feels foreign, it feels unreal, sometimes even unsafe in its unfamiliarity. That's why she might stir the pot. She may question you, provoke you, withdraw from you. Not because she wants to sabotage the relationship, but because her soul is asking, is this real? Can I trust this? Will you stay with me when I unravel? Will you hold me in the storm the way you hold me in the sunshine? This is the paradox that breaks many good men. The very strength and emotional discipline that attracted her in the first place now becomes the thing she seems to push against. It's a test, not of your worth, but of your depth. She wants to know if the strength you show on the surface extends into the emotional realm. Can you remain present and rooted when she becomes unpredictable? Can you hold her tears, her rage, her spirals without losing your center? Most men fail because they take it personally. They react with defensiveness, with confusion, or they emotionally shut down. They see her volatility as disrespect, when in truth, it's desire in disguise. She's not attacking you. She's asking, can I fall apart and still be held? Can I be messy and still be loved? Can I rage and still be safe? These aren't conscious thoughts, they're felt questions, woven into every emotional wave she sends your way. The evolved man doesn't just tolerate this emotional intensity, he learns to lead it. He sees each emotional eruption not as a problem to solve, but a door to walk through, a deeper level of intimacy calling out. He doesn't fix, correct, or calm her out of discomfort. He contains it with his presence, his breath, his unshaken posture, not by dominating her, but by standing firm in himself. He lets her storm come, and instead of running, he anchors deeper. And it is here, in this rare space, that true connection is born. Because when a woman feels like she can unravel and still be loved, not fixed, not dismissed, not judged, that's when she begins to truly trust, to soften, to surrender, not out of obligation, but because your strength gives her the freedom to stop being strong. Your emotional sovereignty gives her permission to fully express her own. And that is what makes stability meaningful. Not the absence of chaos, but the presence of something strong enough to hold it. Until she meets a man who offers genuine emotional depth without adding drama or fleeing from it, she will keep chasing emotional chaos, mistaking it for passion, connection, and truth. Her nervous system is wired to seek intensity, not because she wants to suffer, but because emotional depth feels like love. If love in her past was volatile, unpredictable, or intense, then calmness without presence feels like absence. She doesn't want chaos, but in the absence of real emotional presence, chaos becomes the only thing she can feel. This is where most men fall short, not because they lack good intentions, but because they misunderstand what she's actually asking for. The average man recoils when her emotional waves hit. He becomes defensive, dismissive, or disappears. He tries to solve her feelings with logic or shut them down with silence. And when that doesn't work, he labels her too much, dramatic, or crazy. But the evolved man, the man who becomes unforgettable, responds entirely differently. He doesn't see her emotional outbursts as something to fix or fear. He sees them as an invitation to lead with grounded presence. He doesn't get swept up in her storm, nor does he try to stop the rain. He stays, calm, clear, still. He holds his center, not by controlling her or detaching, but by anchoring more deeply into himself. This is emotional leadership, not dominance, not detachment, not passive tolerance. True emotional leadership is the ability to stand firm in the face of emotional intensity without collapsing or reacting. It's the ability to feel deeply without becoming unstable, to guide the emotional energy without suppressing it, to hold space with strength, not by silencing her, but by embodying a depth that makes her feel safe in her full expression. And that safety changes everything. When she cries, yells, doubts, or spirals, and you meet it with steady presence instead of panic, she feels it in her bones. She realizes you're not like the rest. You're not shaken, you're not afraid, you don't run. And that's when she begins to truly soften. Not because you forced her to calm down, but because your calmness gave her permission to let go. Because your grounded masculine presence gives her emotional permission to unravel without fear of abandonment. She doesn't want to be controlled, she wants to be contained. And that's a crucial difference. Control tries to change her emotions. Containment allows her emotions to exist fully, without judgment or fear, while still being gently held. The container is your energy, your breath, your stillness. It says, you can fall apart and I will not. And that is a rare kind of security that most women never get to feel. Understand this, her chaos is not an attack. It's a test of trust, a sacred offering of her full emotional self. Every tear, every scream, every emotional surge is her soul whispering, can I trust you here too? Not just when I'm soft and beautiful, but when I'm wild, afraid, and unraveling. She's not looking for a man to fix her emotions. She's looking for a man who won't be afraid of them. A man who doesn't collapse when she's fierce. A man who doesn't flinch when she's vulnerable. A man who stays, not just physically, but emotionally present. Her chaos is not a one-time test. It's not something you overcome, check off, and move past. It's a living, breathing dialogue, a constant energetic exchange that reveals more about both of you each time it unfolds. Every emotional storm she brings isn't meant to weaken you. It's meant to uncover you, to strip away the ego, the performance, the false strength, and expose whether there's something real at your core. She doesn't test you to hurt you. She tests you to find you. What she's really asking is this: are you who you appear to be when everything gets messy? Can your love stretch wide enough to hold her when she's not easy, beautiful, or composed? Because if your masculinity only holds in her calm, but collapses in her chaos, it's not real strength. It's convenience. But when you prove that your presence doesn't waver, even when she's unpredictable, irrational, vulnerable, angry, or afraid, something profound happens. She softens, not out of obedience or submission, but out of trust. She realizes you're not trying to escape her fire. You're learning how to sit beside it, to warm her instead of extinguish her, and that makes you unforgettable, not just to her heart, but to her nervous system. In a world full of men who try to manage or mute the feminine, you become the man who can contain it, not through domination, not through coldness, but through unwavering presence. You don't fear her intensity, you welcome it. You meet it with clarity, strength, and breath. You let her be wild while still being held. This is what she's been aching for, not safety that avoids confrontation, but safety that stays through it. Not perfection, but consistency. Not someone who silences her chaos, but someone who brings order to it through grounded leadership. The kind that says, with every cell of your being, I see all of you. I don't need you to shrink. I'm not leaving. I've got this. I've got you. So when her storm rises, and it will, don't panic. Don't fix. Don't flinch. Feel it. Let it burn through your edges. Let it show you where you react instead of respond, where you retreat instead of remain. See the moment not as a breakdown, but a rite of passage, an initiation into the deeper masculine. She is not your adversary. Her fire is your forge. This is the truest test of masculine strength. Not how much you can lift, earn, or conquer in the world, but how much emotional voltage you can withstand without losing yourself. Can you remain when she unravels? Can you love her not just when she's soft and radiant, but when she's raw, unsure, wild, and testing every boundary? That's what sets you apart. That's what makes you the man she compares every other man to for the rest of her life. Not the loudest, not the richest, not the most charming, but the one who didn't blink when she brought all of herself to the table. Because in the end, your greatest legacy in love won't be found in the moments of harmony. It'll be found in how you showed up when everything was uncertain. Be the mountain that meets her storm, and she will remember you, not as the man who tried to change her, but as the one who gave her the freedom to be everything she is and still felt safe. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. If this message spoke to you or gave you something to think about, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new drop. I've got more real talk, more growth, and more power coming your way, so stay locked in. And if you're going through something right now, just remember, your silence can say more than 1,000 words ever could. Take care of yourself, keep rising, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.